Hi, hello, how are ya? It is a Sunday night. It is 6 o'clock. That must mean it's time for Grubby Talk. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Spray, your host of Grubby Talk. We are the voice of GRBY, Grassroots Bass Yakkin'. Glad to be with you here on Sunday. Last weekend, I tell you, last Sunday, that was a fun show to do. We announced our schedule for GRBY for next year. And that took everything of 50 minutes to go through all those schedules. That was a lot of fun. Tonight's going to be fun for me. You may have noticed the last couple of weeks that we have kind of upgraded the look of Grubby Talk a little bit. And one of the main reasons is the talent and skill of my guest tonight. And he's also an avid kayak fisherman. He promotes the community of kayak fishing here in Indiana like crazy. And I just felt like any fishes GRBY. So we had to get him on. So please welcome to Grubby Talk, y'all, Mr. Sam Jones. Hey, Sam.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
So excited to have you on. First of all, I think you and I met. It was earlier this year, I think, for the first time. It might have even been over at was it Kokomo that you did the you and Alan did the what do you call that, the show over there? And
there was there was a couple shows that Alan and I did together last year. I think there was one in Noblesville.
Okay. That's the one.
Right.
That's yeah. Sorry. I did go to Noblesville now that I think about it. I totally forgot that.
Yeah.
My daughter came over there and got to hear you guys talk and met you for the first time.
Yeah, that's the only one that we actually did a seminar at. So that would have been it. Yep.
Yeah. Do you have any idea if they're holding that one this year? I know a lot of them are getting canceled.
I don't. I heard some rumor that one might still happen, as well as some of the other ones that he runs, but I haven't heard officially that it's a no-go. So we'll see. I hope to see some shows. I hope more than that, I hope that if there are shows that people can show up and do, because these companies invest so much into going to these shows and traveling, not only the booth space and stuff like that. Some of these guys don't even break even at these shows sometimes. So I just hope if they do have them, that these companies have people to talk to. So
yeah. I hope so too. And I've heard, I think the Indianapolis Boat Show.
Yeah, Indianapolis Boat Sports Travel Show, that has officially been canceled. Yeah. And that's a direct result of COVID and the city and the fairgrounds not being able to host events due to, the different policies that are out there right now.
I'm loving all the people tuning in tonight. If you got any questions you want to ask Sam, now would be the time to write those in. I'll try to get to those as we kind of go through the evening and talk. And we got everybody from Justin Kivett to Justin Staley, Cole, of course, joining us tonight, Eddie Rivera. We got lots of good people. All right, so I'm glad you all are joining us tonight. I'm looking forward to having a good conversation here with Sam. Sam, why kayak fishing? You are a big advocate. Why is that?
Man, I just love this community so much. But before I get into me, man, I just want to take a second real quick. I want to thank you and what you're doing. Okay. I have ran a lot of podcasts, been guest on podcasts, a viewer of podcasts for years. So I know all angles of this. And this is not an easy thing to do, man. Like, to put a podcast together weekly is hard enough. To put a live podcast together is even harder. And you're doing an amazing job. And everyone in the community here and abroad is benefiting from it. So Brian, just hats off to you, my friend. And let's all show Brian some love in the comments, because seriously, man, this is awesome. Everything you're doing, you're killing it. I love it, man. So I appreciate you. Thank you,
Sam. Thank you. The check's in the mail. I know you mean that sincerely and genuinely, and I thank you very much for that. It means a lot to me. So I enjoy doing that. You're right. It's not easy, but it's a lot of fun. And the live thing, I don't think I'd want to do it any other way. I'm hoping to do some recorded other kinds of content, but I'll never not do Grubby Talk live.
Sure.
I just think it's a lot more fun, and I love seeing the comments from everybody watching and getting those fun jabs in there when we reveal the schedule and everybody kind of just hamming it up and having a good time. So I love doing this live format.
I love the live format as well. When I record, that's the way I prefer to do it as well. So
can we talk about you now?
Okay. All right.
All right. Why kayak fishing? And then I also really want to get into everything that you do. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're such an advocate of this sport.
Yeah. So, like everyone else, for the most part, that's watching this or has been involved in this, I grew up fishing like everyone else and an avid outdoorsman. And I, from a very early age, was just obsessed with bass fishing and the tournament scene. I'm a very competitive person, played a lot of ball sports growing up, a lot of basketball. And I found bass fishing and I really fell in love with it. I always enjoyed fishing and going down to the creek and all that. But I found bass fishing at an early age. I started probably tournament fishing with some local guys around 14, 15 years old. I've done it all from john boats and float tubes. I've owned bass boats, and I've done it all. And then I got in a wreck a few years back, and I couldn't get in a boat again. I was actually having a hard time even just walking up and down stairs, so being on a rocky boat wasn't an option.
Wow.
And then, life happened and things happened, and I found I actually moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I lived down the road from Chad Hoover. And at that time I was working for Dish Network, and I would stop in this gas station every morning on my route, and Chad would be there too. And so we would talk and everything. And I ended up moving to Arizona, and I still was following Chad at that time, just getting things going with the TV show. I mean, he was still in this like little office space, like Hook One wasn't even, he was still selling kayaks out of cargo containers. So then I go to Arizona, and we're staying out there. My wife's family has a place out there, and I would get in a canoe and I would get in this little pedal boat out on different little community ponds. And I just fell in love with it. And so I come back to Indiana eventually, and I'm thinking, all right, I want to get back into the tournament side of thing, and I want to get back into fishing. And I just decided to get a kayak, and I'm so glad I did. I don't think I'll ever go back to the boat world. And I just found a community and a place, and it really it feels like home, honestly, as cliche and corny as that might sound. It just feels like home to me. And I love the people in this community, and it's so far different than anything I experienced in the bass boat world. I could talk for hours about all my horror stories from the bass boat world, but yeah, I can only think of one or two negative things in the whole spectrum of kayak bass fishing. So that right there is what just keeps me drawn to this community and the sport.
Yeah, that's really cool. Tell us a little bit about your family, and I think you've got a couple of youngins. Do they get to go out in the kayak yet, or they've not graduated that yet?
Yeah, no. So married, beautiful wife, Kaylee, and I have four kiddos. And yeah, we get out. Just this year was the first time that we got out as a family in kayaks, which is really great. Moving Water Outfitters is one of my supporters. I've got 3 kayaks from them now, and we took them out on Monroe Lake and had an awesome day together. And my daughter actually, I think, will probably be coming to some of the Grubby tournaments with me.
Oh wow!
Over the summer, so that'll be exciting.
That is
for
awesome.
Me. But yeah, they all love fishing just as much as I do, and it's great.
Tell us a little bit about some of your endeavors. I've Hoosier Kayak Bassin, and let's see what else. South Mountain Media. First of all, this stuff is so cool. On my screen here, you designed all this. You've got some skill, man, right?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, come on. Yes, you do. Give yourself some credit.
I appreciate that. I like to think that I'm artistic. I didn't go to school for any of this. It's just all been self-taught over the years, and I'm still learning every day. And I really enjoy that aspect of what I do. Like I'll never reach a certain point where I'll feel like I've got it, I know it. Whereas in some jobs, I think you get there relatively quick, right? It's like, okay, this is it. My job, that'll never happen. Like every single day, I get to learn something new and expand on my knowledge and my skills and talents and all that. So that's what I love about what I do. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of different things I'm involved in, mostly because I get bored really fast, which is another reason why I like bass fishing, because I'm constantly moving and having to do something. So South Mountain Media. Oh, thanks for
You're welcome,
up there. That's an old website. It needs updated. But so South Mountain Media is my main business. I do everything from marketing and advertising, graphic design, web design, just strategic planning and all that sort of stuff for different businesses, mostly in the outdoor industry, because that's what I love doing. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, so that's an older media deck as well that I did for a good friend, Austin Wilson. So I do those as well. And then, of course, I have Hoosier Kayak Bassin, which really it's about the same thing that you're doing here. It's about promoting anglers, promoting the sport, and promoting the different series here in the state of Indiana. When I started it, a lot of people thought, well, this is another tournament series, or that I was going to start running it more, and that was never the case, and it still isn't. We do have a couple events that we run, but again, those are about community and building the sport, not running another tournament series. And it was, when I came back to Indiana and I wanted to get into kayak fishing, I was having actually a really hard time of finding anything. At that time, Grubby didn't exist. I didn't know anything about IK. I didn't know anything about SIAC or any of the other groups. And through TRC Covers, which is one of the companies that I partner and work with now, it's also a client of mine now. Mm-hmm. I knew Alan Reed. And Alan Reed started introducing me to all of these different things. And I found SIAC, and then also Aaron Molander, an old friend of mine, grew up with him. He introduced me into SIAC as well. Yeah, great guy. So that's kind of how I found the sport here in Indiana, because it was so weird to me growing up in the bass boat world. Like, it was so easy to find anything. And then I had no idea what to even look for. So I thought, okay, there's got to be a better way. So that's why I created Hoosier Kayak Bassin, was to help promote the series, the sport, and ultimately promote the anglers, which I'll be the first to tell you, I don't do a good enough job of, and I need to step up my game on. I'm not at all doing what I would like to be doing with Hoosier Kayak Bassin. I have a lot of plans and I have a lot of vision on that, right. And I just haven't executed on it the way that I want to. And I'm hoping in 2021 that'll be different. I'm working on a new website for Hoosier Kayak Bassin, putting together some different strategy for social media. And then, of course, we are launching the HKB State Championship in the spring. It'll be the inaugural one, first ever state championship for kayak bass fishing. Again, you see this a lot in different series. You have a state championship or a championship. In the bass boat world in some states, I remember being out in Arizona, like everyone kind of conversed on one championship to crown a state champion of all series. And that's something that I kind of wanted to do here. And I'm by no means the first person to ever think of this. I know many of the other tournament directors and leaders in the community have come across this idea, but I just thought that I had the ability to maybe kind of organize it and make it happen. I got big plans for it this year. Of course, with everything that's going on with COVID and everything else in our world right now, I don't exactly know what it's going to look like. But again, I have a vision for it, and I'm trying every day to get to that vision. We do have some really awesome sponsors, which we'll start sharing those here in the near future. Probably right after the first of the year, I'll start announcing some of the sponsors, as I'm still working out some of the details. But there's some really great prizes already available for these guys, and you've got it pulled up on the screen there. Let's give these guys a shout out, the guys that made it, which I think is awesome. Yeah. So if you want to, I can't even see it there. If you want to do that.
I got them. Let's see. First, what I love about this is that this really pulls your strength, which is just promoting kayak fishing in Indiana, all the groups. So you combined GRBY, Kayak, and IKA, those 3 series. Am I correct? Was there any more?
So it's every series in Indiana. So Kayak, IK, Grubby, Kayak Angler, Southern Indiana, and also the overall challenge series winner for KBF.
That's right, KBF. I knew there was one more.
Okay. And next year we'll be bringing in the new IKT trail.
Yep.
Out of Northern Indiana from the Michigan Kayak Trail guys. So that's awesome. But yeah, that's what we got. Now, as you go through the list there, we can kind of talk about each of them.
So Drew Duncan was the IKA champion.
Which, I mean, anyone that can beat Aiden Darlington on any given day, right? It deserves to be in a state championship.
Hey, can I just say that's actually one of my claims to fame? I think I did better than Aiden in a GRBY tournament, like in the state championship or in the championship. So I'm going to put that on my resume. Is that okay? I beat Aiden Darlington. Okay. Get
a belt buckle, man. Like, most underrated angler in the state, possibly. I mean, my goodness, like it kills me. I went to a lake. Oh gosh, it was towards the end of the season. It may have been at the Crossroads Classic, and I was talking to some guys at the ramp, and I said Aiden Darlington, and they didn't know who he was. I was like, "How do you not know who Aiden Darlington is?" And you live within, Indiana, Illinois area. Like, the guy's just crushed IK for years now. But that's another thing. Like, in this sport, we just don't have the promotion that you see. You fish like a guy, like any of these guys do in the bass boat world. You're going to get known. But. Anyway.
So Aiden's also in it. He's the IKA AOY. So he was the Angler of the Year. Drew Duncan was the champion, which means he won the championship tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Then we go on to Matt Kiefer was Kayak champion.
Yes, he was. Crushed it.
Good guy. And I hate that he does so well in all those monthly tournaments too. But
oh well, his back door opens up to one of the best fisheries in the state of Indiana right now.
I definitely understand that. And then we got let's go to the Cassin AOI, which was Michael Sturgill.
Yep. Another good stick there who seems to do well anywhere he goes.
And that's Kayak Anglers of Southern Indiana, which I'm not as familiar with, but that's what they are. Okay. And then our GRBY champion, so proud of this guy, Brian Sparks, had him on a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So Sparks, not only Grubby champion, but had a killer season in his rookie year on the KBF Trail Series. Yeah. I mean, so impressed with him and what he's doing, and proud to have him on the Indianapolis Knights team, which I'm sure we'll talk about that later on. But more than anything, he's just a really good dude. Really great guy. And so it's exciting to have him a part of this as well.
Yeah, and I love that he's our representative this year. So let's go move to the AOI for Kayak, and that was Mr. McNulty, Thomas.
Yeah, ran through it this season. I mean, you couldn't have had a picture-perfect year. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah. For GRBY, and of course, Grubby gets because we have so many different series at different lakes. We've got quite a few guys on this list, which I'm excited about. But Chris Hillenbrand was the AOI for Warwick County.
Yeah, absolutely. Crushed it out there all year.
Yes, he did. The guy that everyone loves to hate because he just did. No one had a chance on Sugar Creek. Josh Shrinko.
Yep, Smalley King, man, for sure.
He is.
I so badly want to get out and follow him on the water and just watch him. I don't even want to fish. I wouldn't even take a pole. I just take the camera and a GoPro, like just watch him.
Hide behind all the trees along the river and just sneak out the peak. Yeah,
exactly.
And then our Monroe AOY was Adam Murray.
Yeah. Let's stop here for a second.
Okay, you got it.
Because Monroe was, I think, the toughest and most competitive series in Grubby last year.
I fished it twice this year and caught one fish.
Yeah, I think it was so tough. That lake had more pressure than I'd ever seen. But and I had some success there, right?
I know you did. I watched your live shows that you were doing from there.
I also had some huge failures, but Adam was consistent all year, which is really impressive because most guys either had one or two good ones and a bunch of bad ones. But Adam seemed to just which is why he's AOY, obviously.
Right.
He seemed to have a consistent year. And I was really impressed by that because I know how tough Monroe is. I also know how great it can be. And so I was impressed by that 100%.
And then one of the guys, there were actually four guys that beat me at Nyona South Mud and broke my heart. But George Nemeth was our AOY, and he's taking over from me as the tournament director this year at Nyona and South Mud.
Yeah, I didn't make it up there last year, and I really want to this year.
We'll get you up here.
I went fishing there actually once, but I didn't fish any of the tournaments there, and I meant to. But yeah, George's another guy, man. He could just go anywhere and catch them, you know.
He makes me sick. Yeah, he does an amazing job. I am going to beat him this year. Glenn Landstrom for West Boggs was our AOY there. He's going to be in this tournament.
Yeah, that dude's got some of the worst luck.
two days in a row led the national championship a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, he's a stick, but he's got some bad. I think I got bad luck, but he's got so. But yeah, absolute hammer. Anytime you see him at the lake and or at the ramp, you got him in the back of your mind for sure.
You're like, uh-oh.
Right.
Some competition. Speaking of Joe Wallach, the Sullivan AOY, he had a great year.
Yeah, and he's got a bunch of people gunning after him. I think why you guys did the schedule release, there was 100 comments and 98 of them were how people wanted to beat Joe. So yeah, obviously you're doing things right when people are calling you out, gunning for your title like that.
Gunning for you, yep. I love that. And then he was our what do we call him? Rookie of the Year, and he won Raccoon AOY. Coach Brian Moore.
Yeah, the coach. Love this guy. Ran into him on Bass Lake, I think it was, if I remember right. Grubby event. Got to spend some time talking to him. I mean, stellar guy. And obviously, as you can see, great angler as well.
Yep. And fun guy to talk to. If you ever run into him at the lake, make sure you take an hour and pick his brain. He's a great guy.
Right.
All right. One more that I'm seeing here. Some no name hasn't had a whole lot of success. I think you just threw him in to be nice, right?
Yeah, that was it for sure.
KBF. Let's see. What's that?
Felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So KBF State Challenge Series AOY runner up. So let's talk through this real quick. Not to take anything away from Mike. Everyone knows Mike is a great angler, and I was so hoping that Mike would somehow find a way to qualify for this, because I'm just thinking to myself, if I qualify for the state championship, I want to fish against the best.
Oh yeah, and he's
hands down, he's the best, one of the best, if not the best in the state.
Yep.
He fishes mostly traveling, but he does get in and fish some in-state tournaments, and so I was really pumped to see him in here. But real quick, runner-up, Matt Kiefer was actually the AOY for the state champion or for the state challenge series at KBF. Yeah. But because he had already qualified before they released the results for the SIAC champion, it rolled down to Mike.
Elsey.
Yeah, and then if Mike couldn't have, it would roll to Brian, who also had qualified. So, awesome to see him in there. I'm so glad that he made it because, he is one of the best in the state. And now everyone gets an opportunity to now actually claim who's the best in the state.
You look at that list and you look at all these guys on this graphic here, and you're like, man, that is any one of them on any day will put out some great numbers and have a chance to win it. So Yeah, I'm really excited. I think I would give the edge to Mike just because of his experience but all these guys that are on here, I think, have probably beat him at one time or another in other tournaments. So you never know.
Yeah, it's
all
a
guys-
two-day event, Summit Lake, and it's going to be in March, where the weather, as we know, could be perfect or it could be a real struggle. And it's going to be who figures them out in those 2 days, and that's going to be exciting for me to watch and be a part of. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited that you're doing that for Indiana and for all the groups. And are you hoping that will be an annual thing?
Yeah, I have no intentions on it being anything other than that. So next year, so the tournament's in 2021, and then, so the next one will be in 2022. How that's going to work is going to be a little bit different next year or the following year. We're going to have, again, all of the AOIs and champions with Grubby instead of each individual series. So this is important for you guys going into this season. Instead of each individual series, what we're going to do is take the Trail Series Angler of the Year and Champion to the HKB State Championship.
Gotcha.
And then the winner of this season will have an automatic berth into next year. Okay.
Gotcha.
So that's how that's going to work. You'll have from each series, including the new series IKT out of Northern Indiana, you'll have a champion qualifier and an AOI qualifier. Of course, if that's the same person, then it'll roll it down. But yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Our trail series is we're just adding that this year. But if you watched our show last week, you saw that basically the trail series will follow. Are we doing 5? I forget now. 5 or 6. Yeah, I think it's 5 of our tournaments, and going around to different ones, and as a trail series in addition to the actual series at that lake for that particular month. And then whoever wins that trail series, you're saying will go into this tournament, and also our champion at the end of the year, whoever that ends up being. So
correct. Yep.
Okay. I love it. All right. Let's talk about that. You mentioned the Knights, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right. Pretend we know nothing about it. Tell us all about it.
Okay. Very good. So there are a lot of different tournament series and organizations we were corrected there. 6 tournaments.
And it's the best 4 out of 6 to win the trail. Yep.
So there's a lot of organizations, a lot of tournament series out there. And one of those series is KBBT, Kayak Bass Bracket Tour. Greg Nozar is the guy behind all that, and he's got a great crew helping him out. He and some others came up with an idea to start a professional fishing league based on traditional American ball sports. Okay, so it's not a tournament; it's a game. Okay. And so instead of it being one-on-one or anything like that, it's going to have a very similar feel to the NFL or NBA.
Wow.
So there's going to be, right now there's 19 teams. He did a go live recently. He said there's 19 teams confirmed, trying to get to 24. And each team is comprised of 6 anglers. So, we've got our team here in Indiana. It's a great team. We've announced that recently. So myself as the kind of captain of the team, if you're
the coach, just say it. You're the coach.
Yes. So myself, I've got Mike Elsey, Alan Reed, 2 tremendous traveling anglers from the state of Indiana. Obviously, we just talked about Mike so much, and Alan has made a huge name for himself in the sport. And then locally here, we've got Jason Cassidy, Justin Staley, and Brian Sparks.
Wow, what a team!
So that's our 6, and I'm so pumped about it. It was tough because we had quite a few people who were interested in it, and man, it was so tough to make a team, and we kind of made some decisions together, obviously, and we got there. But We're really pumped about what we're going to be doing. The season is going to kick off June 12th, I believe. It's about 10 weeks, including the playoffs. So it's 6 regular season games. We'll have 3 games at home and 3 games away. We'll announce where our home lake will be here shortly. We're making some final decisions on a team as that right now, but we are going to be based out of the Indianapolis area. And then we'll travel. Looks like we'll be traveling to possibly Detroit, Chicago, and Iowa for our away games. Again, nothing official there. But yeah, hopefully we do well in the regular season and we get to go play in the playoffs and win some money and represent Indiana well. We're going to try and do a lot of different media things and maybe even host some events as a team. Again, everything pending on what happens here with COVID and the rest of the world. But we're really excited about it, and I'm blessed to have the guys that I have on my team, and we're like a little brotherhood now, so it's pretty cool.
So the idea is that you'll be competing against the other teams. One team against one team, right?
Yep. You'll just like in the NFL, you'll have a team at home and a team away. 4 guys play, so you have two on the bench or whatever, and 4 guys play against each other, and it's best 10 bass, a single day event. They're all going to be streamed live. Every one of these games, there's a morning game and an evening game, and they'll all be streamed live on KFL's different platforms, probably KBBT's platforms as well, and we'll share those on Hoosier Kayak Bassin our games at least. So,
wow, it sounds so much fun. So the idea is we tune into those and we'll be able to watch you guys compete.
Yeah. We're gonna do some through Hoosier Kayak Bassin. We're gonna do some get to know the player stuff here in the very near future. So be ready to check out that.
All right, I'm excited about that. All right, so overall, give us just your view, your scope of the kayak community, both here in Indiana and nationally. Sure. Anything that is on the horizon we need to know? Just kind of give us an idea of where this community's at right now. To me, it seems like it's exploding, but you tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so when you're in it, right, it always seems like it's the biggest thing in the world, right? It seems like it's huge, and to us it is, and it is exploding. Here's the fact of the matter: the outdoor industry as a whole is exploding right now because of COVID. It is the one thing that is, you're able to get out and do safely, right? Our sport, it's great. In fact, small businesses in the outdoor industry as a whole are doing so well. Some of the bigger companies are actually struggling because they can't keep up with demand because they don't have enough staff or, can't run enough hours. But as a whole, the industry is booming. It's great. And I think what's really interesting to see is, bass fishing as a whole had this progression, over time, and become what it is now, this multi-million-dollar industry. The kayak scene is so new. It's like 3-4 years old.
Yeah.
And look at the growth we've had in just that short amount of time. So if you look at that and you think, okay, if this isn't some fad that falls apart, doesn't look like it will be, and you know that just because of how strong our communities are. The kayak fishing community is just so strong. It's not going anywhere. No. The barrier to entry is so low. It's not going anywhere. So when you think about how fast it's grown in such a short amount of time, and you start to think, okay, if we keep this growth rate up over the next handful of years, what's it going to be? It's going to be amazing. There's so many opportunities right now for people to get involved in this, from the competitive side, the business side, the marketing and media side. Like, if this is something you're passionate about, find your niche within this niche and exploit it, because it is going to continue to grow. It's going to be huge. Whether it's GRBY is the major platform, or KBF, or I don't know any of that. Yeah. But what I know is it's just going to continue to grow and evolve, and it's going to be something amazing. And I'm so thankful to be a part of it.
I feel like you and I both are kind of like ground floor people here, getting in on the ground floor of something that can potentially just be huge.
Yeah, man. I mean, all of these people, and again, this is why you're doing what you're doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing with Hoosier Kayak Bassin. Is like, I want to give all of these amazing people that we have in our community a voice and let them get their piece of the pie, because there's plenty of it. There's a huge pie out there and we can all take a slice of it. But we got to give people their voice, and we got to continue to grow from you look at what they've done in the bass boat industry, and you got to model success, right? They have failures too that we can learn from, but there's so much success there that we can model, put our own spin on it, and grow. And the guys who are doing that are flourishing right now. They are, and the ones that are coming up with their completely organic and own way of doing things as well. And look, Grubby is a perfect example of this. You're modeling the success of one of the largest grassroots tournament industry, tournament scenes in the industry with USA Bassin. For folks that aren't familiar with the bass boat side, Grubby's model is strongly based off of that, whether intentionally or not, I don't know, but it is. And so there's a perfect example of modeling that success, putting your own spin on it. And that's why Grubby has grown to be what it is now.
What I really like about being involved in kayak fishing is, especially with Grubby, you have this big combination of the national guys that are going after it, fishing the big national tournaments, but yet they still kind of try and stay connected with their local communities and local groups, and grassroots GRBY and IKA and the other groups. You really see that combination of guys that work 60, 70 hours a week and go out fishing when they can in their free time and get involved in kayak fishing as a tournament or competition or just for fun. I mean, it's like that combination of guys doing the intense seeking national championships and others just grassroots doing their best to hang in there and grind out a stringer full of fish just to have fun and be connected to other guys. That's what I love, is that mix.
Yeah, it's so great, man. And when you think about it, right, sometimes there can be some negative connotation with having so many series, locally, nationally. You hear some banter about that. But when you really break it down and you really look at it, right, like as long as there's enough anglers to support all this, and obviously there is, and as long as you're giving as many opportunities as possible, because you're right, there are guys who literally their days off maybe Wednesday and Thursday.
Yep.
They would never get to enjoy or compete in bass fishing unless they took vacation days. And let's say they only get a week of vacation. It's crazy that here in the United States, that's a custom thing to only have a week of vacation. That blows my mind. But that's the way it is a lot of times. Yeah. So are you going to spend your week's worth of vacation to go fish a tournament if you have a family? Probably not. You're probably trying to take your family somewhere nice or get things done around the house that you can't normally get done. So that's what's great about Grubby. It offers that, for the guys who love the on-site event, that single day format, IK is great for that.
Yep. For
the guys who want a mix of both, then you've got Kayak, who's got online events and on-site events, and you can make a run at an Angler of the Year and qualify for a championship with only fishing maybe a single on-site event or two. And then casting, I don't know what their schedule is going to look like, but they've got on-site events as well. And now we've got Northern Indiana, which has been severely underserviced, now has a series, which is great. Thanks to Todd Anderson and the guys at NKT. So, and I'm not sure, and I think Todd or Mike Anderson. I think Mike told me, and I totally am forgetting in this moment who those directors are. I wish I remember so I could kind of give them a shout out. But it's so great to see. There's so many options, so everyone can literally be involved.
Jim, this is Jim speaking up here saying that he called it the kayak version of USA Bassin.
There you go. I mean, it's so close to that model, and that model has been proven to last for years and years and years. So I love it, and I think you guys are taking it to the next level even. So it's kayak version of USA Bassin 2.0. It's great. I love seeing it, and I think you guys have even caused some change within our local area, but even nationally, I think you guys are causing some change as well. You know, and there's people getting behind and supporting what Grubby's doing, and that's awesome to see.
I'm not sure. See, Indy Bassin, having played competitive softball tournaments for 20 plus years, I think the Indy Knights team sounds like a lot of fun. Wish them the best of luck in 2021. That's one way of looking at it, kind of like a bunch of guys getting together and playing softball against each other.
It is, yeah. And it's going to be so exciting to have that camaraderie and have that team feeling again, and to put on we're going to have jerseys, you know, that have Indy Knights. Like, to have that back, you know, at my age, you know, I wanted to be a professional basketball player, and I was on a track to do that, and then life happens, right? You know, to have that opportunity again, I'm so excited, and to do it with the guys that I'm doing it with. And like I said, Greg's vision is to make this so big that it's something where we have, you know, people can follow and be fans of and root for, and, you know, maybe wear some swag, Indy Knights swag, you know, and maybe have a feeder league that, you know, you can kind of, that's obviously huge, big picture vision.
Right.
This first year, we're just trying to get it organized, get the idea and the concept out there. And it's really cool, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
So before we wrap up, I do want to tell all the listeners, if you've got a question for Sam, put it into the comments right now, because we're getting ready to wrap up here.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, drop it like it's hot. So ask your question, and I will ask Sam all about it. Sam, you want to mention your sponsors real quick? You mentioned a couple of them, I think.
Oh, yeah. I don't like to do the whole NASCAR ramble thing. I like to think that, you know, if you follow me or know who I am,
you know who you're associated with.
It's very obvious to see who I'm associated with. You know, I do want to give a huge shout out to Grubby for helping to promote some of the partners that I've worked with, and it was exciting to see Wicked Weights and TRC and Biz Baits be a part of the Grubby Championship, and some people to get to walk away with some of their products, and that's really cool and awesome to see. Yeah, if you want to know who I follow, check out, I've got a link in my Instagram profile. It's got a link to my website. You can see all of that. I appreciate the opportunity there.
Yeah, not a problem. So how can guys follow you? You mentioned Instagram. I know you're on Facebook quite a bit. What other social media do you do?
Yeah, really easy to find me at Jones and DeFish. Anything I do is going to have that, Instagram and Facebook. You know, I've said for 3 years now that I'm going to launch a YouTube channel, and to the point where it's probably almost laughable for me to say this. I've had content, lost content, created more content, decided I didn't have the time to do it. You know, it's kind of like this when you work in the marketing and advertising industry. Yeah. And you do it all day. It's like, you know, that mechanic who comes home and his cars are in the worst shape possible. I just don't spend enough time on my own thing, and that's something I'm trying to change in 2021. So if I do, not going to say that I will, but if I do launch a YouTube channel in 2021, it will be at Jones and DeFish, like all of my other stuff.
Okay.
I've got
a challenge for you, man.
Okay,
you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm publicly challenging you. Here we go. I'm kind of wanting to do some of the same thing. I've got the Grubby Talk YouTube channel now. I've got the podcast, all that. I kind of want to have some other media content, doing some videos and things. It's kind of loosely connected to Grubby Talk. One of my ideas actually kind of involves you.
Oh boy!
And we'd have to talk about whether we do this or not. So this is more of a teaser to everybody, and we're not committing to it, although. If I challenge you to commit to it, maybe we'll. I would love for us to, I would love for us to do some sort of. And my daughter comes back in March from Korea, and she's a filmmaker. Ooh. I wonder if she can help us do something with this. But I want to get a GoPro. I want to do some stuff like that, and I would love for us to do some sort of Grubby Talk challenge where I challenge people who have a pretty strong media presence. You're definitely one of them. Maybe there's some other podcast people that I'd challenge. Maybe 3 or 4 guys or ladies. We all decide on one body of water we decide on 1 or 2 baits, and we just get out there, have fun making videos on each of our kayaks, and see who wins. Some sort of a challenge video. Now, maybe if we want to really pursue that, and we can talk about what that looks like, it'd be a lot of fun. But just kind of fun media stuff like that, I think would be really,
dude. I'm
tie together.
Digging that. I'm digging that a lot. I don't know of anyone that's done that. And here's all like immediately what comes to mind.
Yeah.
Okay? So I like BMX. One of my boys is really big into BMX, and I grew up watching it. And I did it a little bit, nothing like crazy. But I love BMX, and they have in the X Games best video. So what it is your top guys who compete in these different events at the X Games. Before the X Games happens, they send a camera crew to them, or they get to pick their camera guy or whatever. And they make a video of them doing different tricks and stuff like that. And so then the judges vote on best video.
Okay.
So we could totally do something like that. Now, we can't invite like a guy like Scott Martin or anything like that. Rush us. But, I could think of some names that would be interested in doing it. And we could put it out there. We could do a go live like this. And just play the different videos, maybe 5 minutes or less, maybe,
Yeah.
And have everyone vote. That would be pretty cool.
All right. We're doing it.
All right. Sounds good.
You good? All right. We'll knock out the ideas. I'm sure both of you and I have tons of time to organize this and get it done. So
absolutely.
All right. Let me double check, see if there's any other comments or questions from the gallery. Where are we at? There we go. Nope, I don't see any other questions. All right. Anything else you want to share with us before I let you go, man?
No, I don't really like talking about myself. So. As you can tell from tonight, I avoid it as best as I can.
Me too.
So I appreciate it. And thanks again for giving me the opportunity to come on here. And if anybody needs anything or has any questions about this crazy sport or anything else I do, you guys know how to get a hold of me. And we'll see you soon. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate you so much and everything you do for us here in Indiana and the kayak community. And we'll keep watching you. And you and I will do some fun stuff together. So
awesome, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
Later.
All right. See ya. All right. My thanks again to Mr. Sam Jones for joining me tonight here on Grubby Talk. All right. So, hey, you're welcome. That's Mr. Strong. Okay, Papa. Guys, I love doing this. It's lots of fun. And I don't know if you're like me, but we're in the kind of the off season, and it's easy to kind of be itching and wanting to get out and wanting to go fishing. And I've got my kayak put away. I'm not gonna do this cold weather stuff. Some of you other guys are getting out there and fishing, especially if you're south of Indy, I think. But that's why I'm going to try and keep this going. And so for the next couple of weeks, even during the off season, I'll be continuing to produce shows for Grubby Talk. Now, here's a thought that I'm having next week. I'm going to do my Christmas episode, and that's going to be on the 13th on Sunday, and we're going to do that at 3:00 instead of 6:00. So next Sunday, a week from today, at 3:00, the Christmas episode. So here's what I'm announcing for the Christmas episode. By the way, once I do the Christmas episode, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off to get through the holidays. And then in January, which is what I was trying to get to, in January, we'll do more shows in the off season. So Christmas episode next week, I've got some of the admins in GRBY Grassroots Bassin helping me with some giveaways. We're going to find a way to give some stuff away live during this broadcast at 3:00. I have a special guest who is going to kind of play Santa, and we're going to talk about kayak fishing, but he's also he's kind of my Christmas present to y'all. And I'm going to pick his brain, and I kind of want to keep it a surprise, but I'm excited about this guest. So I hope you all will join me. I'm trying to decide whether to give any clues or hints or no, I don't think I will. Okay. Maybe he was a past champion. maybe a past national champion. That's all. I think I just gave it away. Okay. So joining me next week at 3:00 on Sunday, a special guest for the Christmas episode. We're going to do a bunch of giveaways. We got some stuff to give away, which I'm excited about. So I hope you'll join me live. If you want to win anything, you'll need to be live and have access to a phone, have access to a camera. We're going to do some fun stuff with that. So I hope you'll join me next week. I am done, y'all. I'm out of here. Hope you have a great week. And I will see you next time again, Sunday at 3, not 6, Sunday at 3, a week from today for Grubby Talk. Have a good week, y'all. Bye-bye.